What's up? What's up? What's up? As promised, Monday, we're back, baby. Brandon, how was the weekend?
Solid. Lots of action. Was very happy to win the United game. We won
Okay.
2-1. Last minute goal in stoppage time. It was amazing. It was in the supporter section. Absolutely love that atmosphere. What about your weekend?
Can't complain. Can't complain. Absolutely solid until I checked my phone and the world decided to blow up again.
Yeah,
And we'll talk about it a little bit. Uh,
yeah.
but
Little snippet.
as
We still got some
promised,
main topics.
the bracket came out. Sunday was yesterday. So much with that. We're gonna break it all down. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna show our brackets. Sure, we're gonna have something come up.
I'm sure.
I'm sure
Yeah.
something.
We'll see how wrong we are possibly. But
I mean,
I
that's
want to
usually
ask you a
how these
question
things
first
go.
though, beforehand. Before
Shoot
all
it.
this, not sports, but the
Okay.
debate from the TikTok world and everything of is there more wheels or doors in the world?
You son of a gun. Okay.
So you gotta switch
Wheel,
up sometimes. Um,
wheels or doors.
yeah. I have an answer myself, but I want to hear yours first because I
You
feel
know,
like knowing you and me, we're gonna have controversy.
okay. So it depends on. Uh, this is like totality of the world. Like
Uh-huh.
nothing is off limits. Now, what are you defining as a door, and what are you defining as a wheel?
See, that's the real question. And the problem is we could have an hour podcast about that. But since this is a short little question, let's just wheels or doors. Which one?
Okay, and this is based off of the definition of a door being something that you open, whether it's slide, pull, or lift,
Okay.
that is encompassed by four sides.
Mm-hmm.
That's my definition, four or more sides. If we're going to go off of that definition, and the wheel obviously is the wheel, I'm going to have to go doors. I'm just
Okay.
going to have to go
Okay.
doors. Now, completely get it. Everyone's going to say, well, like this chair alone has five seats or five wheels on the bottom. Not everyone has wheels on their chair. Okay. Kitchen tables, they don't. So that's not a standard argument for everyone. My campus has some chairs with wheels, some chairs with no wheels. Cool. I'm going to push the limits to this door thing. New York City has how many people live in there? How many cabinets do they have? How many cars do they have? I'm assuming that the cars is almost a wash. Like
Yeah, pretty much is a wash.
it's
Like
pretty much
normal cars are a wash.
normal
Yeah.
cars is wash.
Yeah.
And if it's a coupe, then you throw in motorcycles in there, it kind of balances out, you know.
Yeah.
So, oh, well, motorcycle, yeah. But like 18 wheelers, like I completely understand. I completely understand airplanes. It's really one door, but then you got to think about all of those little road doors, right? Or like
Yeah.
above the head. So I'm gonna say doors, man. I feel like
Okay.
cabinets is an underestimated point to this topic. You know, like a drawer that you could slide in and out. I don't know. I'm just feeling it. Like the glove
Okay.
compartment in cars. I don't know.
See, yeah,
Ugh.
that you make a fair counterpoint. I'm gonna have to disagree with you, respectfully though, and say wheels. Um, and if we're basing off of your definitions as well, a wheel, an object that revolves around an axis. All those drawers you pull open, it's got two wheels on the side of those. Like the
Okay.
problem is, no, listen,
Okay.
those are technically wheels. Technically, they're wheels. If you want to start going with drawers, door handles like that. So the problem is that, and like no one's ever really going to be able to know this debate because some countries also, let's be real, they don't really have either. So it's like, but if they have a bunch of bicycles instead of houses, I'm saying that respectfully. Like, who knows? Like, there's so many different like things in the world that you can't determine. But when I first saw this question, I debated it for a while, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go with wheels. I'm gonna have to stick with wheels no matter what happens because I'm sticking to my guns, and I don't want seem like I'm like backing out. It's the same thing with our bets, our brackets. Once I say it, I stick with it, for good or bad. But I have to go with wheels. But you make fair arguments. I will lie.
Now
Won't
I'm
lie.
gonna say this. The only argument I really see with doors or wheels is the fact that Hot Wheels, the toy,
Hot Wheels and Legos.
and Legos. But then the counter side to that is doll houses, man. Like
Yeah, no, there's a lot of counterpoints back and forth. And of course, so
it's so
here's my other thing. If at least you weren't. I've heard some people say that they count all the doors that don't actually work as well. I'm like, no, you actually have to have the door physically
It
has
has
to
to
work.
open. It has
Yeah,
to like even like I would
yeah.
consider a curtain, like if you use it as a door, like that's like the
Okay,
iffiest part. You know what I mean? Like
you're
those
stretching it.
screw
Yeah, I
doors.
know what you mean.
But like it's like still the same concept of a door. You just can't get a door in there. But like
Yeah,
that's a stretch. Like I'm admitting that,
yeah. I mean, like right now, this wonderful closet. I don't have doors. I took away those doors. I took 2 doors out of the world. I said I'm getting rid, I'm helping my numbers out, one door at a time.
Once a debate came, you're like, son of a bitch, you're taking it.
All the doors to go.
I
No,
think I'm over
um,
it. No. It's
I
a good
like,
talk.
it's fair. It is. It's a great answer for both of us, I think. And maybe other people will comment with their opinions. Maybe they're gonna say we're both wrong and there's something else that's more in both of them. Who knows?
I
I'm intrigued
mean,
to know what our viewers and our fans say. So hopefully we'll get some feedback. But let's get into the nitty gritty of the main topic today before we get too heated over doors and
I'm
wheels.
already heated and I know this is gonna just
I know.
explode. Whatever's gonna happen is gonna explode. Okay. We're just gonna
Let's
explode.
go. Let's go for the madness, the March Madness that's
March Madness.
beginning in just about 2 days.
Yeah.
Let's see these brackets. Let's see these brackets because I
You
know
know
you
what?
got them.
You know what? We're gonna go through this
Get right to it.
together. There's no need to even like waste time. This is Brandon's
Okay,
bracket
we're
to
starting with
start
my
off. So
bracket.
why
Okay.
don't we talk through it? Why don't we talk through it?
Okay. Um, let's ask with you any questions first, and then I'll ask you questions of your bracket because I already know my bracket. So
Okay. Yeah. So I'm with you on I understand where you're coming from with Rutgers, Indiana. Now, my question to you is Michigan State.
now I knew you would, and part of me is with the bet, but also there's always that one team that just comes out and just surprises everyone that kind of just upsets a bunch of people. They normally don't win it. And as much as I like some other dogs like Loyola Chicago, I love them, always love their story when it comes to March Madness. They're an amazing story, and they're definitely gonna get a couple wins. But I don't know. I feel like Michigan State is just gonna run the table for a while and just I never trust Gonzaga, to be honest. I never do. Like they're just so iffy, and every time I've picked them, it doesn't work out. So at this point, I said I'm not picking Gonzaga. Whoever I have coming out from the other side of the bracket is beating them, whether it had been Duke or Texas Tech. But Coach K, I'm sorry, you're gonna get upset by like Michigan State. I think it's just going to go on a run.
That's
Um,
what I that's why I ask you because Duke, man.
yeah.
Duke.
And I've also heard a lot of debates of if if Duke goes out, when would be an appropriate time for them to go out of the tournament for him to end his thing if they don't win at all. And at that point, it's like, why not lose to Michigan State where you have another heavyweight coach there? Like
Mm,
it's not gonna be bad blood. Like if they lose to Michigan State, they're gonna hug it out at the end. It's gonna suck for him, but like I just I don't know. I just had a feeling like, and I went with it. I debated it. I definitely swapped my bracket around that section for a little bit back and forth of who would win. And by the time we started, I said, I'm just going to stick with this and I'm going to go with it. I honestly hate the fact that I have 3 number 1s making out of their like mini brackets, their
yeah.
regions. I just don't. It normally never happens, but Arizona, who I have winning it all, they're a scary team in my opinion. Um, I've I watched them a little more like just kind of watch some highlights and stuff to see because I was like, I don't know all these teams great because it is 64 teams and I don't watch college basketball a ton. So 64 teams, I'm like, that's a lot. So I got to catch up. Kansas, I really debated Auburn because Auburn, I did watch a fair bit in the SEC this year, watching Georgia Bulldogs absolutely just crap the bed and everything. But my thing with Auburn is like they're very good, but at the same time they have been starting to lose a bit. I don't see them like getting upset really. So I can see them losing to LSU possibly, or even if somehow Wisconsin pulled off not upset, but if they didn't get upset by the wonderful 14 seed. Um,
Yeah.
but I think Auburn is going to go to the Elite Eight, and then I think Kansas just pulls off. I feel like Kansas has an easy bracket, somewhat coming out that side. Iowa's a
Mhm.
threat. Um, but I like South Dakota State against Providence a lot as well. I think they are one of the few underdogs in the 13 seed that can pull off that 4-13 upset, as well as the 3-14 upset in the lower part of the Midwest. And then in the East, for the most part, I don't have any upsets besides that first round where Murray State loses, which it's a 7-10, so it's not like the worst upset, but
Yeah.
I just feel like that's going to go pretty standard. And then the South's where I have a few more upsets. I feel like I definitely think UAB can upset Houston, and they have the potential to upset Illinois, but I don't think they'll quite make it. I think it'll be a close game. Arizona is going to run the table up top. And then I know your team, Michigan, that you think is going to go decently far. I'm assuming. I could be wrong because I haven't seen your bracket yet, but I think I don't really call that an upset against Colorado. I think that's
Mm,
more of just. I honestly think Michigan was just they kind of tailed off towards the end of the season, so it was a little bit like. But I mean, they could have easily been a higher seed. Tennessee's going to put in work. I think Loyola Chicago does the standard Cinderella story for at least 2 rounds. Villanova this year isn't as good as they have been. They're a good team. They always are decent, but I just think it's Loyola Chicago. It's hard to pick against them in March Madness. Like it
yeah.
really hurts me to have them lose just because it's such a great story every year. But yeah, so I think Tennessee will come out into the Elite Eight with that, and then Arizona will just finish them off. But the Final Four, honestly, I think all those matchups are solid. Even if it works out, I like it. Kansas versus Arizona, very solid matchup in my opinion. And then Baylor versus Michigan State. If Michigan State actually has that Cinderella run as a 7 seed all the way through, I just think Baylor at that point is going to just kind of not
Stop it.
stomp on them, but like it's going to be like, all right, you had a nice story, you made a great run, but this is it. And then I think Arizona just wins it all at that point. Like Baylor's a great team as well, but I think Arizona pulls it off. At least that's
I
my
don't
views.
disagree. I don't disagree with. I feel like a lot of these picks that you went with as like risque picks, I I toiled with. I
Yeah.
really. I mean, this took me 45 minutes just to do the round of 64 for the West. You know what I mean? Like, I was
Yeah.
like really back and forth. I mean, you just never know with March Madness because the upsets could come from anywhere. I mean, how many lost last year? Number one seeds. I think it was like the most ever. It was like two or
Yeah.
something.
And like as here's the other problem I had. Georgia State's the only Georgia team in the tournament. And I do enjoy going to watch their game because it's just like good reason not to work and just to watch a little NCAA tournament madness. But I'm sorry, you got unfortunate when you put yourself against Gonzaga. Like I
Yeah.
don't see them getting blown out, to be honest. And I
Oh, okay.
I wanted to try my hardest. I probably sat there for a good 5 minutes to like 10 minutes debating. I was like, can I do this? Can I put this where Gonzaga goes out first round to 16 seed? And like if they were 2-15, I would have done it, to be honest. But because the 116 has only lost once, like the number one seed has only lost once to 16, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Like I tried so hard and I was just like, I want to do it. I want to do it. I can't do it though, but I want to. So if somehow that happens and my bracket goes to trash, at least to the Elite Eight, so be it. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. I really hate. I just feel like the 4 and 3 seats are always the ones where I'm like, this could be fun.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. Um,
And I
that's
know
why I have Vermont
traditionally
off.
it's like 7 and 10 is usually where the upsets happen. I say 4 and
Yeah,
13. That's where
yeah,
the real madness happens.
yeah. Because 7 and 10, in my opinion, aren't. It's not really like that much of an upset.
It's
Like,
too close. It's
yeah,
kind of
that's
close.
like saying the 3 seat, in a deep playoff tournament or playoff run in like football or basketball loses to like the 5 seed at the moment. It's not really that much of an upset. Like it's like when Tennessee this year lost as the 1 seed. Like, were they really the 1 seed though? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like it wasn't really that much of an upset in my opinion. So, um, but yeah, I don't think I'm gonna change this bracket in the next 2 days. I think I'm sticking with it, and I debated it a lot. I actually right before we got on the call, I switched Arkansas and Vermont. I don't know. The more I looked into it, I had Vermont upsetting Arkansas. That was like my last minute switch.
I see Colgate also beating Wisconsin.
That one's my most risky pick, I think. I really think that's I think it's possible, but at the same time, I'm definitely not like 100% sure on that one. That's one where I'm more like kind of flipped a coin, kind of was like, I, let's have an upset here as well. Like it felt
Yeah.
weird. That bracket was if that bracket was feeling too perfect and that's like that region was feeling too 1 through 8 making it and stuff. I was like I was like, I need to have an upset somewhere. And I just didn't like I debated Iowa State beating LSU and I was like, no. I did pick South Dakota State actually. I forgot about that one though. Which
Yeah.
that's another 4-13. So I don't know. I just feel like it's quite possible. And of course, who knows? I could be completely wrong, and my bracket by day one could be just shattered, which has definitely happened before because it's madness. It's, the madness, anything can happen. But
My
I think
final
overall,
question for you is, when you made your 6-11 pick in the West, Alabama, Rutgers / Notre Dame,
yeah,
who did you base that pick off of? Both teams? Or did you
I am going with Rutgers. Rutgers is going to get that seat 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when it comes to the East with the St. Mary's versus Wyoming, I can't think of who the IU is right now, but
Indiana University.
that's right. I don't think it matters who wins that one, but I
Okay.
think Rutgers is gonna pull that game out, and then they're gonna face Alabama, and Alabama's just I just don't see them making it at all, to be honest. I think that one's an easier match for Rutgers in my opinion than it is for Alabama. And if Notre Dame wins, I definitely think it flips, but I don't see them beating Rutgers. So
Okay.
yeah,
So I think we should I'm just gonna, you broke it down
let's
very well, and I think we should just kind of just look at it. Let take a gander.
let me sit up just a little bit and look at this. Okay. So we'll just start with where we left off with mine. First question. Who do you have Rutgers or Notre Dame winning that one before they face Alabama?
Okay, I think Rutgers.
Or does it
but I
matter?
don't.
Does it matter,
To
do you
me, it
think?
doesn't matter. To me, it
Okay.
doesn't matter. I think Alabama gets
Okay.
at least one round in.
Okay. That's fair.
I went
yeah, I mean,
very
let's
traditional,
see.
very not conservative. I think there is and this to me, I'm subject to change. Like
That's fair.
a couple that I've been sticking out to me has been Chattanooga, Illinois. I've been hearing a lot of noise from Chattanooga.
That one I was debating. I don't think that was one of the other ones.
I have Wisconsin beating Colgate. I don't
I've seen
know. I
that.
have
You have South
Wisconsin
Dakota
going
State.
pretty far.
I see. Yeah, you have South Dakota State beating Providence as well.
Yeah.
Loyola just one round. Okay. You have
And that
Miami
one
beating
kills
USC
me.
though.
That one kills me. Loyola, and that one, like, I'm willing to change because like you, I love a good story. I love a good story.
Yeah.
And my cousin is a Michigan Spartan, and they have some histories. The coach from Loyola, a little something with Michigan State. That could be a little bias on my end.
Honestly, your bracket I think has one of the least upsets that I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
You have Michigan beating Tennessee, which that one, I feel like you kind of had to play that one as you picked Michigan in our little
Right.
bet. You kind of had to play that one out. Miami beating USC surprises me, but I really don't know too much about that matchup, so I'm not really upset with that. I think it's fair.
I have Murray State beating.
I see that,
which is the opposite of you. So at least
Yeah.
in the round of 64, it's very traditional conservative. Throughout, but I think you kind of you went left, I went right type of thing. So it's going to make it real interesting with our picks once they start.
But yeah, so go ahead. Let's just go ahead and explain the rest of your thought process behind everything, because you do have you do end up having somewhat the same Final Four. I think we have two of the same teams going, and neither of us have the same teams in the final, which I find interesting. But so let's kind of want to hear your thought process behind it all.
So I kind of go big names, like real big names within each region. That's kind of my thought
That's fair.
process, and I pick them as they go. And then if I see
Okay.
that there's a possible matchup somewhere else, I will follow that until they face each other, and I'll really. That's when I start to do the research, really get into
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
and really figure it out.
Which is fair.
Not much here now. Like for example, coming out of the East, right? Purdue, Kentucky. That one, there's just something in me.
We
Like-
have the same one on that one. We both have Purdue coming out of the head on that one.
And I think that if they could get out of that, I think there's no reason why Baylor could stop. Like, like that's kind of my thought process. Like, a lot of this has been momentum from their championship games or the championship tournaments that they've had, Big
Okay.
10, Big 12,
Yeah.
whatever. So carrying that momentum into it, I think the momentum within March Madness, Baylor doesn't really have that much, that much of a challenge. I feel like they don't really face anyone until UCLA, honestly.
Fair.
And I think, if Purdue's going to do it, they're going to get some competition from the very beginning. Virginia Tech, they're not to be messed
Oh, I
with.
didn't even
mean,
notice
they
that.
just
You had
won it.
Virginia Tech upsetting Texas. I didn't see that one too, actually. I missed that.
I mean, I have to represent Virginia somehow, and I feel like
That's fair.
it's not like UVA where they like #1 seed for nothing. Like it's like Virginia Tech, they just won. Okay, maybe that's going to carry in. That's my thought process with Purdue. Gonzaga, man, this one I really went back and forth. I really want to say Coach K somehow does it again. I really want to say Coach K has his boys rally. They just got embarrassed by UNC. Like something is different about them. And when they get against Michigan,
part of me wanted to put
State.
Coach K in the finals, but I just
Yeah.
didn't. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. But same thing, like for Coach K, that is big. Duke could end up doing it for Coach K. Like it could be the thing. So, which is
Very
also would be
possible.
a great storyline.
And I would be glad if I lose
Yeah.
like this bracket to Duke doing that thing.
Yeah.
Which is why I thought if I was gonna carry it that far, I want Duke to be in it as long as I think they possibly can to get those points. At the end of the day, I'm trying to beat you in your money. I'm down
Of course,
already.
yeah.
30
Yeah,
bucks
I
or
hope your bracket
something,
goes. I hope your bracket's horrible.
which is kind of why I went traditional. Like conservative.
risky.
Yeah. I mean, just UConn, I don't see much coming out from them. And I think Gonzaga, they've been in it for so long. I mean, they've just been, I feel like every year they're #1. Every year they don't do anything.
But that's what I'm saying. Like they don't do anything. It's so hard for me to pick them to go that far. Like last year, I had them winning it all. Did it work out? Nope.
But you know
Nope.
what? I think, and maybe I feel like it's their time now. I mean, Duke isn't
Okay,
really
that's fair.
all that. I don't think, the other teams that have been knocking them out, they aren't really all that, right? Which is why I went with them to kind of run the table, win it all. And, if it,
I mean, that's
if it
fair.
hits, it hits.
I think I want to say 30% of brackets I've seen so far, at least percentage wise, have Gonzaga winning it all. So it's a safe pick, which isn't a bad thing. Like
Right.
I debated it, but I just didn't feel like, I don't know. They've let me down too much and I don't want to do it to myself again. But if they win it all, like I'm not gonna be that upset with myself besides the fact that I'm gonna owe you money. But no, I
But that's the
do
beauty of this,
agree with that.
because if I was up, I would be a little bit more risky, right? I would definitely be able to think
That's true.
like, okay,
I am ahead right
4-13,
yeah.
And I wish I didn't say that, so you won't change your bracket. But but honestly, I think Gonzaga could do it. On the right hand side of the bracket, outside of I don't think we have too much differing. I think Michigan kind of, you can never count them out really. And I think Juwan Howard is just a phenomenal coach. I know he punched Wisconsin in the face or whatever it was. I mean, these guys have heart. You can say what you want, but he has heart. The players have heart.
Yeah.
I think they make it at least two rounds in. They lose to Villanova. Arizona.
That's okay.
Shout out to Gaberas, my friends that live in Arizona, but I see them. I give them the flowers. I also have 2-3 #1s going into the Final Four.
Yeah.
And I don't love it. I don't love it. So maybe that might switch Villanova, Arizona. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the odds of that. Like it's not gonna happen.
So
3 #1s aren't gonna happen.
Yeah, that was gonna say both of us have 3 #1s and it's very risky. different regions, of course, where we have our number one not making it. But while you're on Michigan, so you how should I put this? Tennessee just came off of a massive SEC tournament win. Like they had
Yeah.
to, so they didn't have to beat Auburn because Texas A&M was going crazy, and but they beat Kentucky,
Yep.
and then they beat Texas A&M to win it all. And Texas A&M was making a run, and they beat Texas A&M by 15 points. So it's like I feel like they're gonna make a little run because of that. The same thing as you saying with Purdue. Like the problem is they're gonna hit the buzzsaw of Arizona right now, I think. But I mean, Michigan, like you said, can definitely make it happen. But I mean, that's the
And
fun
this is
part
the
of having
bias in
brackets.
me too. This is the
Yeah,
bias in me.
that's
Michigan,
true.
Michigan guy. I have a cousin that goes. Shout out Jed, who listens to the pod. He goes
Yeah,
to U of M. My cousin that I'm with a lot. She went to Michigan State. So I'm torn between the two. And I have Michigan
that's
State
fair.
losing before Michigan. So I have to have one of my Michigan people come out. I think it's gonna be a hell of a game. Like if there's ever a
Yeah,
3-11 matchup to watch, that's the one to watch. And I don't know. I feel like Michigan. I feel like the Michigan State, they're always in it, and they're always like. It's weird for me when you said Michigan State could be a Cinderella story. That feels weird to me. Like,
it is. But because of where they're
position and rank,
yeah,
like
yeah,
completely get it. But like, I mean, these guys have like in their DNA. March Madness, they're there
yeah,
all the time. So you can never really count them out, even when they are a lower seed, despite what happens in the Big Ten tournament and SEC tournament. So I feel like that one, it's a 3-11 matchup, but it really could go either way. And
yeah.
I can see where Tennessee comes. That's where my bias comes in. I have to shout out. I mean, it would be so boring if we had the same teams coming out.
Oh,
So it's like,
100%.
okay. And we don't
It's
talk about
actually
this before. And I knew
yeah.
Brendan's going to pick Tennessee because SEC, and I'm going to pick Michigan because, like, Michigan. So,
So it's funny because I was actually looking back at some of the bets that we've done, and when we picked the top teams that we thought were gonna win it all, you picked Gonzaga and you stuck to it. And I had Purdue, and I'd have them not winning now. I forgot I picked Purdue. I won't lie. So it's funny because you had the story that I should have had because of what the team I picked. But me just looking at Arizona, just the more I watched and looked at their games and stuff, I was like, I can't do it. But yeah, so I totally forgot I picked Purdue. I still I still think they can go far. I do. But I'm not backing it. Like if they ended up somehow winning, does it count as a win for me? Because I picked them, or for you, since you have them going further? I don't know. We can figure that one out later. Um, we can call it a draw. I don't know.
I
But
mean, thank God for ESPN that's going to tally all of this somehow.
yeah, I know. Yeah. So but I think let's see. Um we can leave your bracket up as we talk more, or you can switch to mine, or we can just find like a neutral bracket if you want. But what I want to know is if you were to have a one seed go out, what one, like first round, if somehow one seed drops out first round, let's make it a little spicy because the
Like
tournament's going to
major,
start and it's going to be major.
major upset.
Yes.
Upset.
So if you were like, we don't have to bet on this or anything. We can just kind of like talk things through, just to see if you have one of the one seeds going out first round, who do you have going out? And given it's difficult because Arizona and Kansas are kind of waiting to see who their opponent is, um, who do you think would be though?
Okay, I'm going to say it, and it's going to be definitely weird for me to say it, knowing why my bracket's up. So I'm going to put yours up. Dude, if a number one seed was to lose, it's going to be Gonzaga.
Okay, so
Like,
we're in agreement. When you swap brackets, I knew what you're going for. But yes, I do agree with that. Gonzaga. I think if once you were to lose in the first round, I think it's Gonzaga with who their
I mean,
matchups are against.
now it's between Baylor and Gonzaga for me personally, because
Yeah,
I've never heard of the number 16 either of the possibilities. Never heard of them. They're not going to do nothing, right? Like Loyola, Chicago, you and know
yeah,
they're going to be good at basketball. Like I've never heard of whatever Texas. Like who's coming out of Texas to play basketball? Name one player.
yeah.
Like no, Baylor. I don't know. I feel like Baylor, man, just they're so consistent in every sport, and like both football and basketball, that like now I know the football team isn't where it used to be. So like I have a feeling their basketball team is gonna pick it up. Gonzaga men is just they're one. It's like they're always there, but like they never do anything. Now
Yeah.
that's the reason why I think it's their time. But I mean, if they were to lose, am I going to be surprised? No.
Yeah, I do agree. And I definitely think as well when it comes not just Gonzaga, but as well with Baylor. Not just because I don't know who the other teams are in the 16 seeds, but I think I don't know, as consistent as Baylor is, like, but I just don't see it dropping. I think the best 16 seed on the board this year is Georgia State. Um, Georgia State has been pretty consistent when it comes to their basketball team over the past few years.
Yeah.
There's been a little turnover when it comes to the coach and stuff, but not like for bad reasons, stuff just because of, when you're not, top tier team coaching stuff, your coach is going to leave eventually, whatnot. But yeah, no, I think if a number 16 seed was to upset, I think it would be Georgia State. Do I see them making a run? Now that's the question I have next for you. Do you think they make a run, or do you think it's a one game off and then they're out to most likely Memphis, who we both have winning?
Hold on, let me stop the share so we could just really
Yeah, that's fine.
break down the details of it. I think Georgia. I think that's one of those upsets where it's just that's it. They upset and they
Okay.
leave. I don't think they go far. I think the upsets that where those are going to come from. Honestly, I think the South is going to be the upsets where Michigan and Loyola can make it pretty far, and they're going to have to face someone.
Yeah.
They're going to have to face each other.
Yeah.
I think that's where the bracket's going to really be shifted.
And
Also, St. Mary's coming out of the East. I don't know. I like them. I like them a lot. Could they beat UCLA? Yeah. Do I see them beating Baylor? I don't know. Yeah.
I think that's the other thing. Like, Loyola Chicago, in my opinion, could make that run again. Where do they make it to the Final Four? I have them going out. What was it?
Elite Eight.
Yeah. So I had them going out the Elite Eight. Yeah, because they beat Villanova and lose to Tennessee. If they're on that run though, they could beat Tennessee as well. I definitely think they're going to make it. I definitely see them making it the first two rounds. That's nothing against Villanova. I explained earlier. I feel like Villanova is just not as good as they normally are. I feel like Villanova is always that 1 or 2, 3 seed. So like it's not like they're bad. I just think that this might be the time that they ran into the Cinderella story that happens every year of Loyola with.
And like I think this is nice because the way the bracket, the regions are set up, there's like 1 to 2 teams within it that are ranked low but are actually pretty consistent within March Madness itself.
Yeah.
Michigan State, Michigan, Loyola. I mean, the East and Midwest are kind of like but I mean, like there's still a couple upsets I see you have in there. I think a couple. I mean, each one has the underdog Cinderella story that wouldn't be a surprise to anyone.
Yeah.
Like we could kind of see it happening, which is interesting compared to other brackets that I filled out where like Loyola comes out of nowhere or St. Mary's comes out of nowhere,
No, I definitely do agree with that. And I was trying to see if I could find a bracket of like just the most percentage of each upset right now that's made. But I mean, I think those will come out as time goes on because there's still a couple of days before the tournament actually starts.
Yeah.
But do you think it really matters who from the first in last 4 out games? Like, do you think it really matters who wins those games? Because I don't think you have anyone actually upsetting with those games, right?
No, I don't. I don't think
still...
it matters. I don't think any of it matters. Norfolk State. I mean, I really don't know what TXSO, TCC. Like, I didn't even bother with that. That's how much.
I honestly,
it doesn't matter.
I mean, I didn't even. I noticed it, but I was like, it's not happening. Like I literally think Rutgers is the only one that could upset first round. But I don't see them beating Texas Tech at all right now.
Yeah.
I think I think both of us, no matter who plays Texas Tech is going to get that dub in our opinions.
Yeah. Yeah. No matter
I definitely
who gets
could see. Yeah. I definitely could see my bracket going a little haywire when it comes to. I could see Michigan State going out earlier than I have them because I do have them making Final Four. but I still think whoever ends up coming out from the bottom half of the West, whether it be Texas Tech, Michigan State, or Duke, I think that team's still going to beat Gonzaga in the Elite Eight.
Okay.
I just feel like Gonzaga has two, like, they're going to be playing such easy games unless somehow Georgia State comes out like crazy hot, which we both think I'd say there's like a 2% chance, like a
Yeah,
very small
2%.
amount. Yeah. But like if they knock off Georgia State, I don't think Memphis is going to be a problem for them. UConn, it's not the women's team, so it's not like if it was the women's team.
The women's team will
UConn's
wipe
women's
the
team.
floor with these people. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you put South Carolina women's team or UConn, I'm sorry, man, those teams are legit. I don't know enough to fill a bracket for the women's side of it, and I'm sorry if any of our fans are big NCAA women's March Madness fans.
Shout out to Sammy, who is actually they're hosting Oklahoma University's hosting one of their regions, so she got the front row tickets to the first 4 games or the first 2 games at least.
Okay.
Which I mean, hell yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
I would do it. I don't care. It's March Madness.
Yeah.
We're gonna watch it.
Yeah. So
Michigan State definitely could knock out early, but I mean, I think like every pick you made, there's logic, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to fight it, and then it's like hard to say like 3 months. 3 weeks from now.
Besides Wisconsin losing first round, I think that's like I said, that's really the only one where I was just kind of like, let's make it spicy. Let's see what happens. But I'm still intrigued on your Miami beating USC matchup, to be honest. I know it's only a 7-10, but for some reason that one just intrigues me. I don't know if you have some inside scoop on it.
This one, Miami, again, the way they finished their season, with the way that they finished the tournament, I forget what. Yeah, that
ACC.
was sort of my thought process. ACC, USC. I have a couple buddies that live there. I would love to see them be pissed off because they already have nice weather. California, it snowed yesterday, and I was like, you know what? They're gonna lose this game. Like, I have any power over the outcome of the game, but I was like, you know what? Just to spice it up.
Okay, that's fair.
My question to you is, I mean, there's not going to be much of a tiebreaker, but for my bracket, I had 52-45 to Gonzaga. What is your pick? At least the split is going to be.
Sure, I didn't make a final pick. I didn't make a final score, did I?
No.
Let's see. I'll type it in. I'll save it and let you refresh to see. I want to see either your face of shockness or what. I gotta think about this for a moment, though. I won't lie.
No, take your time. Take your time. I mean, even if it's just like the point difference, like, do you think it's gonna be close? Do you think it's gonna be kind of bad?
What was your final score again? So you have Gonzaga beating.
I think it's gonna be a 7-point game regardless.
Okay. You have them beating Kansas.
Kansas. Yep.
Who I have losing Arizona. Okay. Do I like that score though? I'm not sure if I like that score. I'm trying to think of how much defense is actually going to be played. They do like your score seems really low in my opinion, really low, really low.
But they play defense. These kids, like they go at it.
Yeah.
And I also anticipate it not being as climactic as I feel like usually like that if the NCAA tournament's really good, then like there's another major sports like finals that isn't as good. And I feel like the Super Bowl was like and I think the NBA championship is gonna be an all-star. So I just like this one could go either way, you know.
All right. Let's go ahead, pull my bracket up and see if it's refreshed for you. I'm going for a nice little photo finish on this. I won't lie.
Okay. Okay, what is it?
69-67. I think photo finish. I don't know if it's going to be a game winner or if it's going to be Baylor in the end trying to pull it close and just not having quite enough in the tank.
I don't hate it.
Yep. I just
I don't hate it.
that's like I debate my original score. I was originally going 59, like 54, but I just feel like it was a little too low. Like I feel like there's going to be points put up, not because they can't play defense, but I just feel like there's going to be a little runs back and forth. I think it's going to get up almost to 70, just not quite. But I think Arizona beats Baylor by 2 points.
I
You
like
know,
that. I like that.
yeah. Especially if both are actually number one seeds that make it, and because at that point Baylor pulled off. They had to beat Purdue possibly or Kentucky. Like they had to beat solid teams to make it. But so yeah, I think that's
I
a
like that. I like that.
yeah
It's not going to be a not pushover type of finals. I think we
yeah
both could say.
yeah
You guys
for
just have it
sure.
a little bit closer than I do. Dude, I'm so excited. I mean, I just need some sports to watch on top of
Yeah,
so much
on
that's
top
been
of
happening.
so much other stuff, it's insane.
Holy crap!
Let's see.
But I guess are we locked in on this? Because you were mentioning we have a couple days to
I
change
was gonna
it.
say
Let's just
we do have a
want to
couple
lock
days.
in.
I think I'm gonna lock in on it. At
Okay.
least for when it comes to brackets between you and me, like it's possible that if you want to make another bracket, for other things, it's not the worst decision.
Okay.
But uh, so yeah,
I'm gonna lock in because you know what? When I take your money, I want no excuses whatsoever. Okay.
it's gonna be very cute. Don't forget who's in debt right now to the other person. You can
You know
talk all
what?
you want about taking my money,
We don't talk
but
about that.
yeah, to say, but right now
Like,
you are the one in the red.
shout out
Um,
Encanto because we don't talk about Bruno, baby. Let me tell you, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
fair
But
enough.
I'm about to win some money. Um, you hear it here first. We will figure out the final amount that we're actually betting on. But
Yeah, we don't have a set amount for this one. Because we kind of made two like mini bets in it somewhere in a sense.
yeah,
We made the underdog story and the legit
the
one,
main
which
story.
which with them you having my team though. So I'm not sure where this goes.
And I see
Um,
even if we're both wrong, we're gonna have to make a bet on the championship. So
oh yeah,
I
oh
mean,
yeah, no, hands
realistically,
down.
this whole month one of us is gonna go 30 down in some way, like at least 10
Yeah,
each.
yeah,
Pretty fair.
yeah. Yeah, that's the exciting part about this. Like even if our brackets both just completely shit the bed, and we get to the lead eight, and it's just like we each have one team in it, and then they go out. We will easily redo Final Four picks of championship picks.
Oh, 100%.
But also, if our
100%.
brackets are that far off at that point, there's been a lot of upsets, like a
Yes.
lot of
Yes.
upsets.
Like something was not
Like,
calculated in the equation. Like we messed up big
like if
time.
we get to the lead eight and we each only have one team in here, that means that all number four teams have all rank one teams from the regions have lost.
Yeah.
Multiple twos have lost, like multiple threes have lost, like because your lead eight's what ones, twos, threes, and I think you might actually have all one, two, three, four. You might have a five in there actually.
I no, I have 1 through 3. 1 through 3.
Okay. So you have one, two, three, and then I have mine's the same one besides Michigan State. So I have 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, and then 1, 7. So at that point, yeah. So if our brackets are completely done at that point, it's going to be real interesting who's making it out.
So okay, you know what? Let's just add another bet. Let's just add another
Okay,
one.
let's do it.
And
I
like
like it.
without any bias to our own brackets. Who
Of
do you
course,
think is
yeah.
actually going to get out first? Like in terms of bracket being a complete and utter bust between me and you. Let's just get you on the record to say it.
I think mine definitely has more risk.
Okay.
Mine has more risk. Let's see.
But like your
I
risks
might,
are on like the lower end of it. Like, like it's not
yeah.
like
So mine has. I mean, my risk really is Michigan State, and if they go out early, it kind of screws over my bracket. Um, let's see. So you have Gonzaga, Purdue, Arizona, and Kansas coming out. Which
yeah.
so Arizona, Kansas is the same, but I think the problem is I have Purdue going to the eight, but I think that's tough. I think there's a higher chance that I get my bracket screwed up earlier. But I also think because you have Loyola only winning one round, somehow that's going to screw your bracket. I think which region is that?
South.
I think the South and the East is going to screw you up a bit. And then I definitely think that when it comes to the West and the Midwest, I have the chances. So I think it's a 50-50 on those. But I
I'm
think
surprised
honestly,
you didn't say it. I'm surprised you didn't address the elephant in the room.
what's that?
I picked Gonzaga to win, and I
No,
think they
I
could
know.
be knocked out in the first round.
So that's what I was going to get to. I was building up. You're always rushing there. I was building up. That's what I was going to say.
Just
So
address the elephant in the room. Just say
okay,
it.
if the upsets happen, you're screwed early on. Like you have no hope.
Oh my gosh, I'm done.
You've picked the safest winner, but you've also picked the riskiest going out person, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Which is what's weird to say is the overall number one seed's the most risky pick to win still. Like it's
yeah.
there's so many people predicting it to win, but
They
yet
could
it's
still
such a high
lose.
chance. Yeah. Which is weird to say because they're such a solid team, but for some reason when they get in the tournament, it's just like
It's a different story.
not like they choke. Because it's never like they like fail epically. It's just like something happens. It's like, oh, someone else got a leprechaun today or something. Like it's just like some weird things
Yeah,
happen where they just don't make it. But yeah. So do you agree? Are you on yourself that your bracket has a much higher chance to bust?
I think you have a lot of mitigated risk,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
calculated risk. Mine, I mean, everything is very conservative, but like when it's conservative, then
You're going for
any upset will hurt my chances. And if
that's
Gonzaga loses early, then I'm screwed. And there's like you said, the person that could win most likely, but also the team to lose most likely first. I think
So
I'm gonna get busted before. Well, that didn't sound right, but my bracket will be busted. That's what she said.
yeah, no,
On that
you are
note,
correct though. You are correct. Like your bracket definitely you're much more safe, but if one upset happens, you're kind of screwed. For
I'm
me,
screwed.
I can survive a couple upsets unless it's the Michigan State not actually upsetting, then I'm screwed.
Yeah, and I think
So
it's both safe to say
I
Arizona's
need an
not going to
upset to
be
happen.
upset. The Arizona's
And
not going to be upset.
oh my, if they are,
When was
I
the
don't know
last
who
time they
beats
were
them.
relevant?
Arizona? I have problem is I can't think of the last March Madness. I just know I lost my bracket last year.
Yeah,
But I'm trying to. I mean, I guess maybe Tennessee could upset them in the Sweet 16.
yeah,
No, Elite Eight. Sorry, Elite Eight.
Elite Eight.
Yeah.
But even then, I mean, I think we're gonna have
Even
fun this
yeah.
March, man. And I think the first games for Friday. First games are Friday.
Yeah, I think Thursday is the first four last the like the little to decide the final four spots.
Okay,
But I think
it's gonna be
Friday
a
is the
hell.
first big name.
It's gonna be a hell of a month, bro. And the championship is April 4th. I mean, there's so much basketball to watch. And I think,
Yeah.
on that note, with the amount of things that are happening in this world, and it's just going to be madness for the month of March for
Yeah.
us. While all of this selection committee stuff was happening, while everything was being figured out, both men and women, Mr. Goat himself, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr., decided to come out of freaking retirement. And
Yeah.
it feels like anytime anything else is happening in the world, football is kind of like, no, we're still here. And
Yeah.
we have to talk about it. So just go
We
ahead. What are
do.
your thoughts?
Well, so we've sent each other there's probably 10 to 12 texts right now between us when it comes to him talking to Ronaldo.
Yes.
Did it actually have an impact on him coming back? No one will ever know. Let's be real. But at the same time, could Ronaldo have been like, bro, you still have some left in the tank. Let's go. Like he clearly with his Instagram post that he posted of, the past 2 months I've been debating, blah, blah, blah. I don't recall the exact words.
Yeah.
So he's put some thought into it. I'm up and down on him. One, because I'm not the biggest Tom Brady fan as a Falcons
Okay.
fan, and the heartbreak that I have had repeatedly in my life because of that. With him, he's coming back to Tampa Bay, which that's my division, and I don't like that at all. But I don't want him to pull a Brett Favre where he retires, unretires, retires, unretires.
Mm,
I think that it's not necessarily going to destroy. It's definitely not going to destroy his legacy, but I think it does come like if he after this year, whether it's a great year for him or bad year for him, if he retires again and then announces again that he unretires, I definitely think it's going to put a little bit of a stain on his legacy of like, okay, you left the game
why?
in a high like it's not. Yes, you didn't win the Super Bowl, but it's not like you didn't go out and have a great year. You had amazing numbers, especially for someone of his age. Like you put up insane numbers.
He was number 2 in
Yes, you
MVP
did.
voting.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, like you didn't win MVP, but you were still up there. You were in conversation all year long. And who knows what Tampa Bay like? They're trying to re-sign Gronk now because of that, of course. But they're still losing other people. Like who knows where? And also, like I just feel bad. Like hours before this happens, a fan spends just over $500,000 to buy Tom Brady's last touchdown. And now he finds out it's just a ball Tom Brady threw to Mike Evans. Like, so
Yeah.
it kind of pisses me off because part of it, it's just like, why? Like, I get if you really thought you were going to debate this and still wanted to play, why announce the retirement? Why not just like wait this whole time and neither announce that you're coming back or you're retiring? Like, why announce the retirement and then come back? Like, why not just hold off and then talk it out and fully know if you want to retire or not? Like, I just don't. You know, Personally, I hope he doesn't have a great year. I really don't, just because he's in my division, and I think it's
It's gonna affect you.
let someone else take over. But this this old lady yesterday on the trains as I was coming back from the Atlanta United game is when I saw the post that he unretired. So I was like, I was just talking with the people around me, and I was like, oh my god, Tom Brady unretired. And given all of us are with Atlanta sports fans, we're all like, great, like really. And this old lady was just literally, she was like, he needs to stop trying to be staying relevant. He's almost my age. Like and I was like, my goodness, you are savage. This lady was like 85, 90, I swear. And I was just like, oh my God, like I need lessons on like I was shook. I was just like,
Whoa.
I was not prepared. Like I was just like, oh, okay then. Like you said it
Yes,
best.
ma'am.
Like I
Yes,
got that.
ma'am.
Yeah. So like, like if he has a great year, then he's just gonna come back and prove more that he's the best of all time. But at the same time, if he has a horrendous year, it's gonna be a why didn't you stay retired? Like there's no, even if it's a mediocre year. And I get, yes, that he's now the odds favorite for MVP. The Bucks are now the favorite for the Super Bowl and stuff. Is that really just because of like I don't like there's so much that still has to happen, I feel like. They have to re-sign so many people for it to really matter. Like Tom Brady, eventually he will decline, in my opinion. And at this point, is it now? Maybe.
No, not at
But
all, actually. And you're completely and utterly wrong in that aspect.
okay,
I couldn't disagree with you more on almost everything you've said.
that's
Let's
fine.
just look at the Rams team. They didn't have Antonio Brown. I mean, he's obviously not going to come back, whatever. I think they just got Chris Godwin from injury and Mike Evans was out, or other way around. Was it
I
Godwin or
can't
Mike
remember.
Evans? One of them was
Godwin was
not in the
out.
game. Scotty Miller was not.
Evans was playing. Evans
Okay,
was
so
playing.
Evans was playing. Godwin was out. Little Scotty, number 11 speed route. He was out. Gronk, okay, like older, whatever. He took that team kicking and screaming
But here's the thing.
to the Rams and came back on them. It wasn't like he was like,
Yeah,
he was
no,
blowing
you
out
are correct.
but he has it in him. Now, everything you're saying is absolutely correct. But I mean, the first season with the Bucks, they weren't that great during the regular season. Second season, also not so great. I don't think the Bucks, when they won the Super Bowl, they almost lost to my then Washington football team. Taylor Heineke almost had their number. So
Yeah.
to me, it doesn't matter what happens there. And Tom Brady has built his legacy off of taking guys that are and making them
No, you are
good.
correct. But
It's super
my
early.
one thing I will say
The
this.
signing, like you said, is
Yeah.
super huge. You can't ignore it. 10 stars, not even like just players, but stars on that team. I saw they gave Levante David or some a $45 million extension, whatever, great. But I mean, like, how many $45 million extensions do you have
Yeah.
to give? for 10 guys. But all that to be said, second MVP voting last year. The year before that, he won the Super Bowl. So, like, we get everything that I'm saying after this is with the Super Bowl win to start off.
Yeah.
I mean, no distractions with Antonio Brown. That's going to be huge. I think that honestly weighed on him a lot more than people will give him credit for. And on top of it all, it's Tom frickin' Brady. Do you really think he will come back if he didn't think that he has it in him? Like, I feel like out of all people, like, I honestly see the most, like, if we're going to talk about competitive, and I like memory eternal to Kobe, but like, I see a lot of Kobe mindset killerness in Brady, and he's not going to put himself in a situation. What was Kobe's last game? He dropped 60. Like, Brady's going to ball. Like, I just have a feeling the NFC is weak as heck. I think two teams that are in the division, and unless San Francisco signs someone, but everyone's kind of major players are kind of locked in place. Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, and he's proven that he could beat both of them within the past 2 years. So I don't know. I like it. If he went to the AFC, if he went back to the Patriots to end his career, like, yeah, I'm agreeing with you. Why? And I know his retirement was a little sticky. I saw these tweets that were like, he spent 2 months with the kids and he was like, yeah, hell no, I'm not doing this. Or he saw the gas price is too high. The gas price is too high. And he was like, yeah, I need to go back to work. But like, I really think once he retired, Giselle, his wife, beautiful, gorgeous wife, Giselle, right? Was saw it in him that he needed to play. And I think that gave him the boost to come in. And I think he's just going to blow our minds. I think it's going to be a Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady Super Bowl again, honestly. Like, and I will put me on the record. I'll put money on it right now that will be the Super Bowl.
Fill it out. Like, fill out your spot. Go ahead, put in the bets.
But I'm so confident in him.
That's fair. I mean, and as much as I want, like, not that I want to disagree with you on this, but it's just, I know that Bruce Arians has talked about how he wants to have, bring everyone back and whatnot. And I mean, given having Tom Brady come unretiring is a major step, I think my biggest thing is that there's a possibility of them losing so many defensive players. And I have to look to see who's all actually been signed over and like re-signed or extended or whatnot. But that's the biggest thing for me.
Okay.
Even if he has all the weapons, if he loses the defense, that's bigger, in my opinion, than him losing weapons on the offense. Because like you said, he can make meh players into good players, great players even, at least for while they're with him. But if he loses a bunch of defensive weapons, nothing he can do when he's off the field. He can put up 40 points, but if his defense can't stop anybody, it's the same problem. And like, that's the thing, with the Rams, they got a game blown out and he brought them back, but their defense stepped up. But if you take away the big name players, their defense doesn't step in that game. And then it's just a worse scenario. Like, it's just a shootout and he's too far behind. It's going to be interesting either way though, because will he want that retirement with the actual Patriots, or will he actually retire and stay retired as a Buck? Like, because I know, there's all the 1-day contracts to retire as this team or whatnot.
Yeah.
But I think him coming out saying he's coming back to the Bucks, part of me thinks that he wants to end his career as a Buck as well. I think that, like, not that he would not have gone back to the Patriots because of Mac Jones.
Yeah.
But like, he could have tried for a different team at that point. Like, he could like, let's go to this team, because it's not like there weren't options open. There's
San Francisco.
Yeah, there's a handful of teams that could have got him. I think, given this would never happen, but hilarious, in my opinion, and like this would have been like nail in the coffin, I'm the best no matter what, is if he had been like, I'm going to the Raiders, and just runs that division. That would have been money.
You can't even make that up. Like, I couldn't even think of it before you said it.
Yeah. Like, how?
Hold up, that would be Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, and Tom Brady.
Like, that division right there.
You know how much of a GOAT you would have to be. That's saying Tom Brady probably does. Tom Brady probably thinks that he can do it, right? But like, if he literally was like after Russell Wilson signs, I'm going to
be the that would have been like that right there. That if he had done that, I'd like, he's going to have the best year of his life. But because he's going back to Tampa Bay, I'm like, there's a chance he might not. But
I
like,
kind of
I
wish
just
he
thought
did
about that. I thought about that. I was like, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till we do this later. I was like, I could tell him this when because we talked on the phone right when it happened. We're like, let's just, all right. We're like, quick
Yeah.
phone call because we couldn't even wait. But I was like, I'm gonna save this one little piece for now. That would have been the goat of goat moves though. Like, but also the safe bet's going back to Tampa Bay, have them re-sign everybody, and just run it back in a sense.
Running back.
Um,
Yeah.
but we'll see. I think it's
we'll absolutely see.
Because it's going to take more time. There's still the draft. There's still plenty of free agents. We're going to talk more about that next week. More of the free agent signings, just because there's been so many possible signings, and I think it's Wednesdays when they can officially sign. So that's all like I plan to sign here for this much. And we don't want to like flood everything down. We made an emergency podcast last week just because
For
there's
that.
too much. Like we weren't going to fit all this plus what we talked about last weekend. So,
I mean,
speaking of
jumping
goats,
from
though,
goat to goat.
yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of goats,
How do we not
let's
talk
talk
about him?
about good old Pop.
What was it?
Most
Last Friday
wins.
or
Was
or
it when
Thursday?
we were doing the emergency? It was either while we were doing the emergency podcast or the day after. It was when we had that like
Yeah.
so it was either Thursday, Friday or Saturday, I think. We were just like he just decided to, become the winningest coach of all time.
Casual. Like every day that happens.
And was it 350-ish or something less than the second like took 350 less
350, yeah.
games?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Which I mean that's just insane. But I mean he has a legacy. Him and Coach K when it comes to things. It's kind of sad because like given Pop's not retiring, but like Coach K, he's ending this year, but like it's becoming a different era. Like that's just an era is ending in college, and who knows how many years Pop has left. But if he keeps coaching for a while, that's the Spurs aren't amazing, but they're decent enough where he could run that total wins up a fair bit to have a gap. Because I want to say right now, let's look at the Spurs. Not great, but Spurs are they're not great. They're 26 and 43, so they're having a very bad year. But even if he puts up 30 wins a year, for what 4 or 5 years, probably more before at least you think, unless he just decides he calls it quits. That's another 150 wins. Yeah,
I guess the bigger question with this is he the GOAT of coaching? Is he the GOAT coach of the NBA?
how many titles does he have? I can't remember off the top of my head. 5, because that's what I couldn't remember if it was 5 or 6. Regular season GOAT for sure. I don't know if you can call him the GOAT yet though. I think if he could win one more maybe, then you could call him the best of all times as a whole. But I also can't think off the top of my head who I would have as the best NBA coach ever.
Phil Jackson.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely go to. Do you think do you think Pop's in that conversation yet, or do you still think he needs to do anything else to get to that point?
I actually think he is.
Okay.
I think what he did with the Spurs, one team, one organization throughout pretty much his whole career.
That's fair, yeah.
That has something to do with it. Also, winning 5 chips. I mean, Phil Jackson, if we're going to just like use him as a model, not as many chips, but he bounced around. I mean, and he also had Jordan and Kobe. So,
yeah,
he had Tim Duncan.
That is fair.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I definitely think that's respectable, and I do agree with that. And you are more basketball than me, so it makes that's why your opinion is more valid, I think, a little bit than mine, just because you are a little more NBA than me. So, how much longer do you think he coaches? And do you think
Honestly,
he wins another chip?
I wish he retired last year, personally, when he was kind of very frustrated with the team. I think he has. I mean, this guy can coach for however long he wants, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's any team that would say like, no, Pop, don't want you. I'm glad he didn't retire because now I think like you said, LeBron needs the most points all time to kind of enter that conversation. I think Pop needed to get the most wins
That's fair. Yeah.
to be in the conversation or to own the conversation essentially. But I think, I mean, I wish he kind of gave. I really like the girl that they have there, and I'm completely
Yeah.
blanking on their name. But I mean,
I
like
can't even name it. I know what you're talking about.
Pop is the only one in the league, like doing something different, and like what he had Tim Duncan on the bench coaching one game, like this.
Yeah.
Like I would love to see it. I think Pop needs to just hand over the reins a little bit, and like give just like the Spurs need to have. We need to have a female head coach. The WNBA man just needs to has like how many guy head coaches. Let's get a girl in there and chance, and I guarantee you, like her with Tim Duncan, I would love that coaching staff. I'll give it 5 years, and they'll be relevant again. You know,
So,
that's my
so you
heart
think
and
Pop
soul.
retires before he gets another chip, though?
Yeah, there's no way.
Okay.
I mean,
That's
poor
fair.
dude. How old is he?
Unless
I mean, how
unless
old
he
is he?
leaves the Spurs. Unless he leaves Spurs. If he stays
Yes,
with Spurs, he doesn't get a chip. If he leaves the
but I don't
Spurs,
see him
then there's a
leaving.
chance. Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
either.
see him leaving.
That's quite fair. But I just definitely wanted to give our respects to that milestone because it's
Love him.
insane.
I'm not gonna lie,
I don't
man.
want
I'm
to.
just. So we were talking before everyone, before this started, and we are like, how like we should just do something because it was a very emotional podcast. A lot of hot takes. Let's get a little emotional, one on one. Me, you, Brandon. No one else is in the room. And this segment is called ButtHurt. Okay, what is making
It's
you
been a
butthurt
rough
today?
day.
What's making you butthurt?
It's been a rough day. I won't lie. Baseball comes back, last week, and I'm ecstatic about it. And then there's the reminder of myself that our franchise player, Freddie Freeman, is a free agent and he hasn't signed with us and he hasn't signed anywhere. And I just basically spent the week, every waking minute, I would refresh Twitter, refresh Instagram, ESPN, just to see an update, just to hope for something good. And then all these big name baseball players, which we'll talk more in depth next week about, because there's so many signing everywhere, and I'll have more in depth when it comes to those things next week. All these things are happening. Freddie Freeman's still nothing. And I'm just like, okay, this is great. And then there was talk of Freddie Freeman's going to have, they're going to have him signed by this point, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't happen. And then today, the talks of the Braves trading for Matt Olson from the A's had increased a lot. And I thought, okay, that happens if Freddie Freeman doesn't sign with the Braves. And then while at work today, I was talking to a coworker and we flipped on the radio and they were talking about what happens if the Braves trade for Matt Olson first so they don't have to give up as much. Because if Freddie Freeman signs elsewhere, at that point, it's the Braves have to get Matt Olson.
Right.
And then about 20 minutes later, the news comes down, they trade for Matt Olson. And I just went, part of me was upset. Part of me was disappointed. Part of me was like, baseball wise, though, this is a better move for my team. But it's so hard for me to admit that because Freddie Freeman was the face of the franchise through a rebuild. We got a championship with him, but he is 32. And so it hurts me so much to see him leave. And given he still hasn't signed anywhere, but the chances of somehow we sign him and move Matt Olson to the outfield just doesn't happen. It won't happen. But I'm just concerned now why he hasn't signed anywhere else. Like it's coming down between Dodgers and New York Yankees, most likely. But it's just like, what's taking either side so long? Because it's not like Freddie Freeman's a bad player. He's top 5 first baseman in the league, top 3 in people's opinions. In my opinion, top 2. But Matt Olson is it hurts to say, is a better player when it comes to his current age and his production, honestly, like on his potential. Yeah. Freddie Freeman, he's consistent as could be. Hitting wise, he's better than Matt Olson. But Matt Olson he's 28, I think, a couple years younger. We have 2 years of control with him. He's hitting in Oakland, which is not a hitter's park whatsoever. And he hit 39 bombs last year. We move him to Truist Park. We put him in a much more stable lineup with people who you can't just walk him. You couldn't walk Freddie Freeman. You can't walk Matt Olson. You're not going to be able to in the lineup. We're getting Ronald Acuna to come back. Marcell Ozuna is going to be our DH. I hope he doesn't have to play left field. We have money to sign another big name player if we want to, sign Soler or Rosario from last year, or even Jack Peterson. We have money to spend because Freddie Freeman was going to take up a bunch of money with what we could spend. So while it hurts that he's gone, and I say that because even though he's not fully gone yet, because
It
he
feels
hasn't
like
signed
it.
anywhere, he's not there's no way we sign him at this point. So it's gonna suck to see him in a uniform. And if he goes to the Dodgers, it's gonna hurt because we have to go through them to make it to the World Series again. If he goes to the Yankees, it's gonna suck because I don't want to see him in pinstripes. I don't want to see him in another jersey. But as a baseball standpoint, do you pay one person how much he wanted, or do you pay one person a quarter of what you were going to pay Freddie Freeman, and you get two other people? So either you have one great baseball player or three very good baseball players. If you're the general manager, you pick the three very good players, unless it's a quarterback in football, then it changes.
Yeah.
But in baseball, as great as he was, as much as he was the face of our franchise, Ronald Acuna is now the face of our franchise. Greg Olson is a stud, though. I mean, the dude rakes. He's a great defensively. Like, it's not like I saw a tweet today from someone who is a giant Philadelphia fan, and they work with ESPN, I think, or SportsCenter, I can't remember what. And they were like, can there be any news that doesn't make me want to throw up? Like, you lost Freddie Freeman, and then so instead of we having to deal with Freddie Freeman, we now have to deal with this dude. Like, it wasn't like we downgraded. That's the thing. That's the one good part. It wasn't like we dropped off from Freddie Freeman to a prospect that we have nothing to know about.
Yeah.
We gave up a good bit for him, yes. But in the long run, unless he just tanks, he's from Georgia. He went to Parkview High School, which is super close to where I am. Like, he's a local kid, so it's gonna hopefully work out. But it's just a pain.
Yeah.
It's like seeing Detroit Lions trade Matthew Stafford and then him win the Super Bowl. You can't do anything about it. I'm sorry. But yeah, so it hurts right now, but it was the right move. And I hate it. It hurts me to say that, but it was the right move when it comes to how much money we're going to have to spend for Freddie Freeman.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it hurts. I mean,
Well, I've been there.
grew up watching him. So
Matthew Stafford leaving the Detroit Lions to go win the Super Bowl hurts. It hurts just like this much.
Just a little bit, yeah.
But I will say, Matthew Stafford was screwed by Detroit, so like it was a little bit different.
Yeah.
Where I was hoping that he.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Freddie Freeman, you guys
Yeah.
just want to chip. And
yeah. So he left on a high note. It's not like we didn't win a championship. It's just there's so much confusion of why he hasn't signed out. Yeah. So, but that and next week I'm sure we'll talk more about it because hopefully he'll sign somewhere at that point. Just so we can, talk more in depth about it, and we'll have more signings. Hopefully the Braves will finish signing a few more players, so then we can truly know. All right, this is what we got all for not
was it
signing
worth
Freddie
it?
Freeman.
Was it not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we did give up 4 prospects for Olson, and one of them was supposed to be our catcher of the future, but I think it was either we give up the catcher of the future or the center fielder of the future. So yeah, I had to pick one. But yeah. But I know you're ButtHurt on a couple other things that aren't as major when it comes because they're not for your team.
Not for
But
my
I still
team,
know they hurt. Just in a general sports fans perspective.
Devontae Adams, guys, comes out today saying that he does not want to play for the Packers on the franchise tag. Am I making this up?
No.
Nope.
But also, Aaron Rodgers technically hasn't signed his extension.
I'm gonna lose my crap. Okay, technically, are we going after? He made this tweet. He made this huge scene. The whole Packers.
No, the Packers organization mentioned that it had not been signed yet as well. Or I don't know if the organization, but someone outside of him has mentioned that it wasn't signed as well yet. Well,
this whole thing is making me butthurt because we're gonna have to talk about this until this stuff figures itself. And
yeah,
I thought it was Aaron Rodgers signed. So then now he's stuck, and I'm butthurt that people are going to make excuses for this guy when we're just going to, he's not going to do it again. Are the Packers going to sign a number one wide receiver for him? No. But we're going to have to talk about them for another month. And who knows what happens between now and next week. Like you said, a lot of things are going to shake up. Maybe Tom Brady doesn't get any of his players back, and I change my pick. Or March Madness.
No, I'm taking that money too. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to really have to win out on March Madness. But so much news happening, and that's literally the only two trades of football. We're going to be next week is going to be.
I mean, next week I think we're going to talk. It's going to be pretty much free agents and trades when it comes to football as well as Major League Baseball, because I know there's a lot in both of them. And then just short snippet to end it though. I think, March Madness. I mean, we'll definitely update those because we have just over a month until the quarterfinals or the quarterfinals for Champions League. I know that there's some remaining games left and that we wanted to talk about them, but Real Madrid had a massive comeback with a hat trick to beat PSG. That was big.
Say his name.
No. I'll let you say it.
Benzema.
There you go. I just wanted the hands. I know you love it. That hat trick was amazing. But I mean, you still have 4 matchups to go, so it's going to be interesting. I think once the quarterfinals are set, we could, if we want to, even make picks and kind of bracket that up. I'm down for that, to bracket that up to quarterfinals and semifinals, because it's going to be interesting. But so first leg of quarterfinals is April 5th and 6th, so we have a while, so we can kind of end March Madness in the whole month of March. We can start April with those brackets. League. At that point, baseball will be starting April 7th as well. So that's going to be a wonderful little 3-day spill right there.
NBA playoffs.
I'm not sure what day they start off the top of my head though.
You know what? Let's just confirm.
Yeah, let's do that.
NBA playoffs. Dude, I mean, we've been talking about Champions League for so much, but I think everyone kind of understands there is just literally everything that could have happened.
Everything that could have happened, and there, it's as much as I want to talk soccer.
We have to.
We'll get to that. Yeah, I mean, we have April to talk Champions League. MLS will be able to talk about that more just because the season will be more rampant. It's been 3 weeks now for them, so the season, it's going to be shortened a little bit because of World Cup. So we're going to be able to talk a lot about that as well once the months go on and whatnot. But
and the playoffs for NBA, I just saw April 12th to the 15th are the playing tournaments. April 16th is when everyone's in. So it's a nice little sequence.
So starting with April, we'll be able to do a nice little bracket for Champions League. Start time on opening day baseball, and then go to NBA playoffs plus whatever else the world decides to give us with sports news. Because oh my god,
wow.
But no, it's.
Everyone enjoy this month of madness because we are, and I'm sure our text train is going to go through the roof.
Insane.
So just enjoy everyone.
If y'all have brackets, feel free to let us know who you think is going to win it all and how wrong you think one of us are, or both of us, especially with Deed. But let him have hope.
And we're going to be posting them. We're going to post them on our social media. We have a very cool surprise for you guys. We just figured out our logo, and we're ready to kind of make our social media presence. So the and symbol W on Instagram, TikTok. We'll put them in the link to this. It's also on our YouTube already, but be on the lookout for us. Comment what you guys think. You could reach us literally anywhere. DM us if you have questions, whatever it is. We want to hear a comment. I mean, we love you guys.
As well as if y'all have a question that you want us to ask each other at the start of the videos, because we like random stuff, wheels the doors. But if y'all have something that are like, this is what I want y'all to say, screw it, we'll pick y'all. Man, for the people.
It's for the people. I mean, what is this if it wasn't for the people, right? Except for
exactly.
So We're
our own
almost at a
sanity.
month of doing this. We're almost at a month of doing this, and I've
That's
I've
insane.
loved it. So
Yeah. I'm really enjoying it so far. And even if,
yeah.
we're going to do this either way for us. So hopefully y'all like
You
it
join
also.
us if you want. We don't care.
Yeah,
We're gonna be watching it and talking about the same stuff anyways. So
exactly.
we love you guys and enjoy the month. And Brandon, I will be seeing you very soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Starting Friday. We're gonna probably call every day just like what the hell just happened.
Yeah, basically. But all right, guys, we'll see you Monday.
All right. Peace.
Peace.